About simplifying fractions or putting fractions in simplest form. A fraction is in simplest form when the numerator and denominator have no common factors other than 1. And in order to put a fraction into simplest form, there's a number of different things you can do. And the first thing I'm going to do is show you what it would look like with a picture. So right here, I've got 12/16 represented. So it's candy bar, 16 pieces, 12 of them are left. For simplest form, we want to try and make group the smaller pieces into equal sized bigger pieces. So for this example here, 12/16, I know that I can get I know that I can put each group into 4 pieces. I can't do any smaller or any bigger pieces than this. So I started with 16ths, which are smaller pieces, and I want to see if I can make them bigger pieces. So 12/16 can be put into the 16 pieces can be put into groups of 4, which nothing has changed except for the size of the pieces. We still have the same amount. We started with this much of the candy bar left. We still have that much of the candy bar left. So the size of the pieces are bigger. So now we still have 12/16, but we've also grouped them differently. So now we also have 12/16 equals 1, 2, 3, 4 equal sized pieces. 3 of them are shaded in, so 12/16 also equals 3/4. So back at the beginning, I commented on no common factors other than 1. And factors are numbers that you can multiply together to equal the product or the answer of a multiplication table. So in this case, with 12/16, I'm going to write it again here. To put that in simplest form, we need to get bigger pieces. And we have to check to see if they share a common factor other than 1. And they're both even numbers. And since they're both even numbers, I know that both of those are divisible by 2. And remember, when working with fractions, whatever you do to the numerator, you have to do to the denominator, either multiplying or dividing. For simplest form, we always divide. For equivalent fractions, you can multiply or divide. Simplest form, divide. So I know they're even numbers, so they're both divisible by 2. 12 divided by 2 is 6. 16 divided by 2 is 8. So with this, I have to look at these again. 6 and 8, do they share any other common factors? Yes, they're both even numbers, so those are both divisible by 2 as well. So 6 divided by 2 is 3. 8 divided by 2 is 4. So I came up with the same result, just a different way of doing it. This one with a picture, this one by doing dividing. There is still another way to do it, and we'll still stick with 12/16. I'll write it up here this time. But for this strategy is to find the greatest common factor of 12 and 16. So to find the factors of a number, I like to use a T-chart, and then I just list the factors of 12. What numbers can you multiply together to equal 12? So we all know 1 times a number is the number. So 1 is a factor of every whole number. 1 times 12 is 12. 2 times 6 is 12. And 3 times 4 is 12. Now I'm going to do the factors of 16. 1 times 16 is 16. 2 times 8 is 16. And 4 times 4 is 16. Now I'm going to go through and find which of these numbers, or I'm going to try and find a number that's the same for both of them, but I want to find the biggest that are the same. So here I have 2 on this side, and I have 2 on this side. I have 4, and I have 4. There's no other common factors, so that lets me know that 4 is my greatest common factor between 12 and 16. So now, with that being done, I can come up and I can divide both the numerator and the denominator by 4. 12 divided by 4 is 3. 16 divided by 4 is 4. So I get to 3/4. I get to 3/4 every time. It's a different way of doing it for each one. These are similar. I'm just cutting out a middle step by doing this. Now this takes a little bit more work, but it can save you time in the long run because you just get straight to the simplest form if you're able to find the greatest common factor. You might see it called the GCF. Always, when you think you have the fraction in simplest form, still double check. Think, are there any common factors between the numerator and the denominator? So there you have it. Those are a couple of ways to put a fraction into simplest form.